JB and I've kind of noticed something, and they're not the only ones, but they are artists that tend to preach about empowerment, especially Beyonce, right? Go get yours. We need to empower each other, that kind of thing, right? But they talk about it from a capitalist mindset, not a community building mindset. Where is the discussion about the empowerment when you see all of these different unions go on strike, which has been happening for like the past couple of years? There's been more of them since like the pandemic, obviously, but you just don't seem to see them around. In fact, some of them, like JayZ, have actually crossed the picket line. And I'll go back to Chateau Marymount. So Courtney and Keisha Banks worked there in LA. When the workers went on strike at Chateau Marymount, JayZ crossed the picket line. As if there aren't other hotels in Los Angeles that you could have hosted your party at. He could have hosted anywhere else, but walked right across the picket line. So what we tend to notice is that there just seems to be what they consider to be empowerment. It applies to people in reference to the individual, not as a community. And that's a big part of the problem.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. In fact, since you brought that up, let's bring in the article, actually, because I think this is very important. It says, why workers are picketing Jay-Z's Oscar party, according to a lead organizer. I think we talked about this in passing once, but I think we should also get into this as well. I can get this thing to work. Come on now. Work for me. All right. So it says, when the hospitality industry capsized in the early days of the pandemic, Chateau Marmont, Andre Ballas' illustrious West Hollywood hotel, fired nearly all of its employees. The hotel, which has long served as a hyper-exclusive, hedonistic playground for celebrities, dismissed its workers, many of whom have worked there for years without severance, cut off their health insurance, and offered them no guarantee that they will be rehired when business picked back up. Those employees have been fighting for their jobs ever since, asking Marmont's A-list clientele to boycott the hotel until they're brought back on staff and management addresses. They're brought back on staff and management address a culture of sexual harassment and racial discrimination that they allege has plagued the hotel for years. Workers told the Hollywood Reporter guests have touched them inappropriately, and that a manager once referred to an employee as "my blackie," among other allegations. But earlier this week, news broke out that JayZ and Beyonce plan to host the Oscars after party at Chateau Marmont anyway. They and the other celebrities who attended, which in years past have included Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, Drake, Charlize Theron, will have to cross the picket line to get in. The Marmont's former employees, joined by members of the Hotel Workers Union, the Unite Here Local 11, will be demonstrating outside the hotel beginning at 8 p.m. on Sunday. So they crossed the picket line because they wanted to have their little shindig, but they didn't want to address the employees' issues. And this just shows them and their class. They look out for their class. Even when it comes to entertainment, it's like, I'm going to buck the workers for the sake of me and my class.
Right. But the thing is that did they have to have it at that venue? No, they could have had it anywhere else.
They could have. But,
you know,
and the thing is that one thing I think we need to really come into terms with is that a lot of these entertainers, they may have grown up poor, but they forgot who they were. One of the first people that come up to mind is Whoopi Goldberg. And she would probably be pissed off at hearing me say this, but I'm like, as somebody who was on welfare as a single mom back in the day, you would think that somebody like her would have more sympathy for those of us that are poor. But the thing is that when it comes to politically, anybody that actually really speaks up for the poor, she'll go up against. And then she'll automatically think, oh, well, we can't allow this person to get into power because ultimately it's not good for her class, right?
Right, because at the end of the day, they don't stand up for the workers.
Yeah, no.
At the end of the day, they're nowhere to be found. It's just it's really weird that that they preach this type of empowerment. We've talked about this before, the whole idea of Black capitalism and why that is not the answer. I don't know why some people have adopted that, thinking that like, oh, if it's capitalism for Black people, then it's going to work. No. It helps people like Jay-Z and Beyonce and Rihanna. It doesn't help the majority of Black Americans. So this is a big problem. And I hate that way of thinking. I hate like this promotion of we need to have Black capitalism and that's actually going to be the savior. No, it's not.
Yeah. Well, I honestly should have put Oprah Winfrey on the thumbnail. Should have had her on the thumbnail too. But, it's just like, because you and I were talking about, I mentioned her daughter, Blue Ivy, and there's this whole controversy. Somebody's talking about Blue Ivy, and because she's on tour with her mom, and she's, one of the dancers that comes out in the middle of part of the show. And I was basically telling Sabby that Blue Ivy, she has the steps, but she's a little stiff, which is, like homegirl needs to work on, loosening up and, really like doing the steps, but my thing is like, that's fine that, your daughter's on there, but ultimately like, and I was thinking about this, I'm like, okay, if Blue Ivy is on tour with her mom, then is she getting paid? Because number one, she's a minor and she's on stage, which means that she's working. And if she is a minor, is she getting paid a living wage for doing it? And if she is getting paid a living wage, is it going to be the same as the other dancers who spend most of their time on stage with Beyonce, whereas her daughter is not on up there the entire show?
No, I mean, it's mainly just to benefit Beyonce, like obviously, right? Like I don't like when kids are being pulled into those types of situations. I think kids should be kids and enjoy their childhood. I think that's important. But I think that I have a clip here I want to play from this guy. This is King of Reeds, and it's called JayZ and Capitalism, because what he mentions here in the very beginning, I think, is just so spot on in reference to how JayZ seems to view himself like he really doesn't get it. So let me go ahead and share this here.
JayZ in Twitter space with DJ Khaled, some other folks. He was talking about some things, and the conversation came up about capitalism. And JayZ said that this is a word or some things they're trying to come up with to keep us down. And when he said this, I'm like, he's really sound like he's speaking to like Black folks. It sounds like he's talking to like Black folks, like, because I don't see I don't see as many white people critiquing JayZ as I do. I see Black folks, but I am in community with Black folks, so that probably the reason why. But JayZ just seems to not get it, and this is why each and every time he's getting his butt ate up. Like, we already were looking at you sideways when you did the thing with the NFL. Like, but this is a long running theme of JayZ. JayZ will give the aesthetic, or he will say something about it in the verse, and then he'll turn around and sign a deal within the NFL and say this is beneficial for Black folks. Black folks are still being shot by cops. Black folks are still being slain in the streets. Black folks are still being pushed in poverty. So I'm trying to see, how do you, being a rich billionaire, how has that affected and made Black folks better? when Jackson, Mississippi, which is a predominantly black city.
When he means, he's like, when Jay-Z says black folks, it's Jay-Z. He's black folks.
Yep.
Just wanted to say that.
Yep.
80% of the residents in Jackson, Mississippi don't have access to not only drinking water, but they can't even take a shower. They can't even boil the water. They've been in a boil advisory for the last 2 months. Like, this is the second city that we've heard of with a lot of black folks where they don't have access to clean water. Like, this is going to be a reoccurring thing. And you black billionaires are not going to be able to save us. And that's why a lot of us are pushing towards like, hey, girl, capitalism not really helping me out. Like, I'm really starting to understand that this system has always been against me from the very beginning. And the more people think about that, the more people realize that, the more folks start to push for something that's better.
I just wanted to pause there and add something really quick, because I think this is important for people to really grasp.
Mm-hmm.
That is what is being pushed
to
a lot of us, that we need to have this in communities like Flint, Michigan, and like Jackson, Mississippi. Capitalism is not helping those communities. If capitalism was helping everybody, or if it lifts all boats, so to speak, as some people claim that it does, then you wouldn't have people that live in these cities where the drinking water is undrinkable. You wouldn't have that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the mindset is all you have to do is get out of the hood. And I'm like, instead of getting out of the hood, why not make sure that there is no hood? I mean, instead of getting out of the hood, let's just elevate it so that there is no more poor neighborhoods.
Right. I mean, part of the other thing is too, is just like, you know, why not use your platform to help those communities instead of, well, we'll get into your clip in just a second, but you guys are going to see there's something else, a new venture that Jay-Z's working on that he somehow believes is going to help people in the projects. And I don't think that it will. I'll just finish this little part here.
Which is what they were talking about in the Judas and the Black Messiah movie that you didn't even watch, let alone read any of the work that these black revolutionaries who you've been dressing up as have been talking about for the last 50 something years. Like, you can't be serious. So I want us to first, if we have not seen the video, we've not heard it, I want you all to listen to it and let's talk about it.
Yeah, we're not gonna stop. You know, the hip hop is young. We still growing, and we're not falling for that technology, whatever, you know, this public puts out there now. That, you know, before was the American dream. Pull yourself out of bootstraps and you can make it in America. All these lies that America told us our whole life. And then when we start getting it, they try to lock us out of it. They start inventing words like, you know, capitalist and, you know, things like that. I mean,
did you know the word capitalist was just invented? Like,
I can't. Look, I heard this before, but it's like, pull yourself by your bootstraps. Help.
This is a mess. So for people who don't know, this is Jay-Z talking in this Twitter space. Also in this space as a host or speaker is DJ Khaled, of course, Lenny S. and Ari. I can't see Ari's last name.
He's an MSNBC host.
There you go. There you go. So this is who, these are the people he's speaking to.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. First of all, as far as the ventures that Jay-Z got into, that whole spiel that he did, and the fact that he's always trying to invoke someone revolutionary, even though there's really nothing revolutionary about him. Somebody like Fred Hampton, who he tries to talk about, would disagree with him wholeheartedly.
Right.
I'm going to read this quote really quick. Fred Hampton said, "We don't think you fight fire with fire best. We think you fight fire with water best. We're going to fight racism, not with racism. We're going to fight it with solidarity. We say we're not going to fight capitalism with black capitalism, but we're going to fight it with socialism." We stood up and we said we're not going to fight reactionary pigs being cops, and reactionary state attorneys like this, and reactionary state attorneys like Hanrahan with any other reactions on our part. We're going to fight their reactions with all of us people getting together and having an international proletarian revolution. That's what he said.
There you go. I'll finish this and then I'll bring it back to you.
Sure.
You know, we've been called nigger and monkeys and shit. I don't care. Those words y'all come up with, y'all got to come up with stronger words. When I say y'all, I'm not talking about you. The words they come up with, they got to come up with stronger words. We're not going to stop. We're not going to be tricked out of our position. Y'all locked this out. Y'all created a system that, you know, doesn't include us. We said, fine. We went our alternate route. We created this music. We did our thing. You know, we hustled. We fucking killed ourselves to get to this space. And, you know, now it's like, you know, eat the rich and think, man, we're not stopping. So that evolution is, you know, from us, you know, we came from selling 7 records and selling records out our trunk and, you know, no radio play. And I think Reasonable Doubt did 36,000 the first week or something like that. I may be adding a little to it, you know, so. You know, I come from Marcy Projects. In my first house, 615 Lexington Avenue, my grandmother's house, 7 families lived, like, she has 7 kids. My mother and, you know, my parents and siblings lived in that house. My aunt Niecy lived in that house. Hootie lived in that house. Butchie lived in the basement. I mean, this is one house. I went back to that house. I did an interview with Oprah and I couldn't believe how small this house was.
You know what's funny about that, Jaybe? He's like, I did an interview. He's talking about like growing up in the projects. He's not there anymore. Like, dude, you're uber rich. And then then he throws in, I did an interview with Oprah in the same line of the same topic. And doesn't even see the class issue there. Yeah, I grew up in Mossy Projects. I did an interview with Oprah. Like, yeah, but that just proves, like, look at where you are now.
Yeah.
And he's saying we, like when he says we, he's not talking about us.
No.
He's talking about people that are a part of his class.
Yeah. My question to him would be, who were the capitalists when our ancestors were in chains? And if our ancestors were in chains, the capitalists at the time were the slave masters. Why would we want to embrace a system that really is trying to take us back to that? It's literally trying to take us back to slavery. I mean, look at all the things that are happening. She's Black says Jay-Z tries to tie black revolutionaries to black capitalists. Jay-Z is the bloodsucker Malcolm was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that what good is it if you're exploiting your own people?
Right. Or exploiting people globally. Using sweatshops abroad. Rihanna, sweatshops for Fenty. Beyonce, sweatshops. Like, I mean, you know, the exploitation doesn't even necessarily have to happen in the United States, but it's happening somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see them stand with the workers. And that's my thing. Like, he's sitting there talking about like how he grew up poor and then he was able to get out. Not everybody can be a rapper. Not everybody can go into the music business. Most people don't and won't get the opportunity to do so. And most people that do, you'll never even know their name because they'll never be in the top 10 or top 20 Billboard hits, right? So most musicians aren't even known nationally. They're the ones that play gigs and they have like the underground records that a lot of people just don't know about because they're not getting that play and that airtime.
Mm-hmm. So in Reddit, for under the anti-work, this was 10 months ago. It says Jay-Z pays his dispensary workers a hair above minimum wage, part-time positions scheduled to the max, benefits, LOL, and has cut janitorial staff and receptionist positions. He is not helping anyone in his companies other than upper management get anywhere. But everyone seems to think he is great.
That's the thing. It's like, just because you've started these businesses and you hired people, if you're not helping those people actually get to a place where, like, if you're not mentoring them, so to speak, actually get to a place where they get out of the position, especially if they're in poverty, they get out of that position that they're in, then you're just looking out for yourself. This is just another business for Jay-Z, or it's another business for Beyonce. It's just another business for Rihanna. They're not really trying to like elevate and uplift people in the community, but they always talking about empowerment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like, how can you empower if you're like, who are you empowering if you're not empowering the workers? You know,
their self.
You know, and they'll say, you know, like, for instance, a lot of people go, well, if you got, you know, a chance to have dinner with Jay-Z, what would you ask him? I wouldn't ask him shit because he wouldn't give me any information to truly make it like he does. Because guess what? Capitalism makes it so that only a very tiny few can actually get there. And it means that I would literally have to exploit people in order to get to where he's at. Do I really want to sell my soul in order to get to where he's at and throw people, my people, as well as other people under the bus? Am I ready to do that? Because that's what you have to do to get to where a Mark Zuckerberg, an Elon Musk, a Harlan Crow, or a Donald Trump. Well, there's rumors that Donald Trump's no longer a billionaire, but that's a whole other thing. But but am I prepared to do that? To take the money from workers so that I can hoard all this money? Am I willing to do that? And here's the crazy part that really gets on my nerves. People will project this benevolence upon you simply because you have a lot of money, without even ever asking, how'd you get it?
All of them, mostly all of them, though, Jaybe, mostly all of them. You never see them, you know, if they care so much about the workers, where are they right now with the UPS strike looming? Where were they when the railroad workers were trying to go on strike? John Deere, the school teachers, Kellogg, which go on strike every year, Kellogg, like the nurses that go on strike almost every year. Like, where are they? The writers in Hollywood that are on strike right now, where are they? You never see them on the picket line with these people. Nothing. You never see them. You never see them use their platform to say, hey guys, donate to, you know, their strike, donate to this union, donate to the Teamsters so that they can continue to pay their bills and purchase groceries while they're on strike. You never see them, but you see them asking you to give them money. And the charities and stuff, like, that's just, let's be clear here. All these rich people that say, I have such and such charity, that's a tax write-off for them.
Yeah.
That's a tax write-off. Yeah. Like, this is nothing.
Knows it.
Right. So I just, you know, I don't see, it's not just them, but it's the people who brag about how they got out of where they were and they made it, but they sold some people out along the way.
Yep.
And people need to understand that. And that includes people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. You'll never see these people standing with the workers.
And you know what? I got to answer this. Samuel says they're busy celebrating their American dream. Well, it's time to wake them the fuck up, because it's time to stop dreaming. You need to see what we're going through. And the thing is that let me ask you this though: What would you say to anybody who's going, oh, you're just saying all that because you're just jealous of Jay-Z and his success? What would you say to something like that?
What success? What success? Having money doesn't mean you're successful. You know, what are you doing to people in the community? What are you doing? You know, Puff Daddy, we could have put him on this thumbnail too. Same thing with Puff Daddy. I grew up in Harlem, you know, my mother, my father. So what? You ain't there now. You're rich. What have you done for the community? Have you uplifted those people? Look, say what you want about LeBron James on the basketball court. When he's on the basketball court, we are not friends. But off the basketball court, when it comes to helping people in the community, he gives back to his community. Look, he built the school for the boys. You know, nobody else that just, you know, was just like, I struggled. I was poor. I lived in a 1-room apartment with 7 brothers and sisters, but I got out and you can do it too. All you got to do is buy my book, which is going to tell you how I made it. Oh, Tammy, no.
Tammy, no, you didn't. Tammy T came in with the tea.
Oh no.
Oh no, I wish I had me some liquor in this right now. I'll be taking a swig.
Tammy said Puffy grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, a suburb of I know where Mount Vernon is. He went to a private school in the Bronx. Oh, Puffy's story was he grew up in Harlem. Everything coming out now.
Ooh, yeah.
So maybe he didn't pull himself up by boots or straps either. Puffy, through his mom, who was a model, was able to surround himself around entertainment business people at a young age. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
It's just, it's hilarious to me. It's like, you can do it too. Same thing with Oprah. You know, my parents remember when Oprah worked at the radio station in Baltimore before anybody knew her name. This was like back in the day. And she had to sell out a couple of things and a couple of people and sell out some of her values to get to where she is as well. So when y'all see people like Oprah's like, I grew up so poor. And, you know, someone gave me a chance and that was my ticket out. Nah, someone gave you a chance and they told you to give up a couple of things and to step on a couple of people on your way up there. And that's how you got to where you are. Tell the whole story. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Oprah should tell people about what happened when she went to Chicago to be a news anchor and they told her that she cannot wear her natural hair. Let's talk about that. How she had to change who she was in order to get the job.
I don't see her wearing her natural hair still.
Oprah used to have a fro.
Yep. She got all them excuse me, she got all them keratin treatments.
Let me tell you, it just I don't have time for it. So you see it, like I said, you see the UPS workers. By the way, that's going to affect everybody. It's not just, you know, middle class or poor people. UPS strike will affect supply chain in this country. Hello. And you don't see these people nowhere. The hotel workers that are on strike in LA. JayZ got houses in LA and in New York and all this stuff. You'll never see these people down there with the strike. You know who there with them was there with them? RFK Jr. was there with the hotel strikers in LA. You'll never see none of these other people who tell you you can uplift yourself and all you need is that empowerment and you can get out just like they did. But when the workers are calling for just a decent wage or for their employer not to pull their healthcare benefits, all these people go run and hide.
Yeah, they don't have nothing to say. And then even Beyonce will come out with a song with lyrics like, she says, I just fell in love and I just quit my job. I'm going to find new drive. Damn, they work me so damn hard. What does she know about that? Work by 9, then off past 5, and then they work my nerves. That's why I cannot sleep at night. Like, quit your job, baby. You've been in the entertainment business ever since You were part of Girls Time when you went on Star Search. What are you talking about? Just quit your job. What in the hell?
Ever since she was a teen.
Ever since
She's
she was
always
a teenager, when she was part of Girls Time.
Well, a lot of people may not have realized that at the time, but Destiny's Child, they were teenagers.
Yeah. Beyonce's what, a year older than me? I think she's just hit 40.
What the hell? They're telling everything in the chat about Puff Daddy Jaybe. Buckeye fan said, plus Diddy's father was a drug dealer that was associated with Nikki Barnes. Holy shit. How do you guys know all this stuff?
Damn, y'all. Look, we need to switch places. Y'all need to be the ones talking about this.
And it also gets to a point like, how much more money can you have? I mean, you've got all these different types of businesses, and it's like you just at any time, like, doesn't it get to be enough? And you just want to contribute to something else, like lifting up a community, or with all the money that like someone like JayZ and Rihanna have, they could start their own community.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really.
They could be doing, you know how much money they could get for if they led a mutual aid project, you know how much money they could be able to get from people?
God. They can start something up. They could really start something up. But the thing is, they don't want to, because the system worked for them. And the thing is that when it comes to this system, how can I put this? In order to do that, you have to have empathy for the people who are not in your position. The thing is that if you are going to achieve that much wealth, you cannot do it empathetically. Because once you start applying empathy, you start giving that money away. And not for tax write-off purposes. Because you can't stand to see people suffer. How can you be in that limo or that car service, passing poor people in LA, and not stop to help them? How can you do it? This makes people like this live so egregiously. They're not living in Calabasas and in the Hamptons only because it's really nice out there. They're also living out there because they don't have to see the poor people on the street, so that it doesn't hit their eyes, so that they don't go, oh my God, I can't believe this. So that it doesn't bother their conscience or what is left of their conscience. That's why. So they don't have to drive past it.
And some of the women in especially in the entertainment industry are some of the things that they have to go through early on just to even get some type of recognition. Rihanna, again, she was a teenager when she blew up, and she was from Barbados. I can only imagine some of the things that she has seen, or maybe she had to experience to get to where she is. Now, Beyonce had her parents with her. Rihanna did not. Could you imagine that? And trusting the people in that industry with your child. It's just there's so many stories. And I just think to myself, it's just like, in the end, it's not worth it. Look at what happened to someone like Aaliyah.
Look, let me show you something else. And this prompted me to do some searches. Some of these people, they're hilarious. Got 99 problems, but paying a livable wage ain't one. Got 99 problems, but a union ain't one. He said, I flow for chicks wishing so they don't have to strip to pay tuition. Dang, that used to be Jay. But this is one of the funny ones. Where is it? Oh, it says, never forget when Occupy Wall Street started, he made t-shirts, sold them as if they were like official merch, and then kept the cash.
Yep.
So
yep.
I said, a what? So I was like, let me do a search over here. So hold up, Hove. This is from Forbes. It says Jay-Z's Occupy Wall Street problem is hip-hop's Occupy Wall Street problem. It says if Jay-Z were a politician, pundits may have labeled him a flip-flopper. Since his 1996 debut, he's been tacking back and forth from the silver-tongued underworld poet we met in Reasonable Doubt and American Gangster to the glitzy pop rap impersonario who emerged in My Lifetime and popped up again in Kingdom Come. He shilled for Budweiser after pledging allegiance to Heineken. He famously traded his New York Knicks hat for that of the Nets in a small ownership stake. The list goes on, but over the past few days, the rapper has come under fire for his comments he made to Zadie Smith for a recent New York Times Magazine story. Jay-Z told the writer that he wasn't really a supporter for the Occupy Wall Street movement. Then why in the hell did you make t-shirts for it?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you make t-shirts and sell them?
He took a movement that was about a class struggle and made a profit off of it and was not even for the movement.
Yeah.
This is what bothers me about like people like Jaybe. Oh, Jay-Z just saw this as a chance to, okay, it's a chance for me to make some money. I don't agree with what they're doing, but I could sell some t-shirts.
He's like, oh, I don't know what they're about. They don't, they don't have any demands. So what? Why are you making money off of them?
And where are all the rest of these artists? Like, if we want to look at, some of these people that they worked with before, what happened to Foxy Brown? Where did this woman disappear to? Foxy Brown was up under Jay-Z. She was a teenager. Another one who was very young. What happened to her? What happened to all these artists that Puff Daddy signed to Bad Boy Records? Where all these people go? What happened to Craig? What's his name? Craig Mack. What happened to him? What happened to Total?
Oh, Craig Mack did. Craig Mack, I think he died.
Craig Mack. Okay, maybe he passed away. Craig Mack, Total. Like Mary J got away from Bad Boy and started doing her own thing. But if she still would have been there, he would have tried to find a way to suppress her too. How was he like basically coming up with all these one album artists where the people would come over? What happened to Danity Kane? Mm-hmm. What about like making the band? Like he was signing all these people and these people just disappeared.
Yeah. What happened to
he made money?
Oh, a lot of money. What happened to 112?
That's another one.
What happened to G Dep? Spit it out. Special delivery. I want that. Special delivery. What happened?
all these people that were up under him, like they come out with that first album Mace. And then they just disappeared. Mace. Oh no.
Some of them got religious and left, but
I read that Total wasn't being paid. Listen, I'm telling you, like it don't make no sense. Puffy's sitting around with all this money. He signed all these people. All these people they come up, they're really big, and then they just disappear. You'll never hear from these people again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's another article with Jay-Z regarding Occupy. Oh gosh, get out of here. Okay. This is from a few years ago. Jay-Z's fallout with Occupy Wall Street. It says less than a year after he started wearing and selling Occupy t-shirts, the rapper has spoken out against the movement, criticizing protesters for not being clear about their complaints. What are you fighting for? Yeah. Jay-Z asked in a interview with the New York Times. I don't know what the fight is all about. What do we want? Do you know? Yeah, if you maybe went and started asking them and maybe just tried to bring people together to help facilitate demands, you could have done that. But instead, you decided to make money off of them and skip town.
Speaking of a similar situation, Tammy said years ago, the Locks confronted Puffy on Hot 97 asking about their money. You see what I was saying? I'm telling you, Jaybe, all these people, they were one album artist under him and then they just disappeared.
Wow. Wow.
He had the nerve to create a show called Making the Band. I'm like, you need a show called Keeping the Band.
And paying the band.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, you are coming off very Donald Trumpish. Not paying people and shit.
No, he's in. Jay-Z is in. When people say like, oh, well, you know, you got to support people like Jay-Z and them and Rihanna and Beyonce. We got to support them. And God forbid, don't criticize Beyonce on Twitter because the beehive will come for you. But the thing is, I'm just like, what do you mean don't criticize them? They don't help nobody. Who cares? Who cares if they have gold albums? Who cares how many concerts they sell out? What are they doing for people in the community?
Yeah. Or against the community. This meme was made a few years ago. It says Beyonce, the idol of bourgeois liberal feminists, pays 64 cents an hour to female workers who make clothes of her brand, Ivy Park, in sweatshops in Sri Lanka while preaching female empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to...
Oh, we got a couple of super chats, JB.
Okay. Let's read super chats before we get into the article because I want to make sure that I don't want to miss that. So Media Dream says, thoughts on Ricky Martin's divorce? Ay, Dios mío. I had no idea he was getting divorced.
I didn't know Ricky Martin was married. I forgot about Ricky Martin, to be honest. Damn.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just finding out from you.
Yeah.
Though I do like it when he shakes his bonbon.
Shake your bonbon, shake your bonbon, bonbon, bonbon.
Asalanad says, I would ask him about going to Epstein Island.
Ooh.
Damn. T-Laxo says, what can be done is to cover the F out of the UPS workers movement. Yeah, and that's what we plan on doing.
Yep.
Samuel says, they still busy celebrating their American dream. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Frank Johnson says, we have really been, I think you meant been conditioned to worship the rich.
Yep.
Yeah. People who don't deserve any of those accolades whatsoever. Frank Johnson said, didn't Jay-Z step on Damon Dash? I saw Damon Dash on my way back from my trip to my grandmother's funeral. We were on the same plane. He was in first class. I was in coach. And I saw him sitting in first class as we were exiting the plane. While we were waiting for our ride outside baggage claim, Damon Dash got picked up in a Mercedes, those vans, Mercedes vans with a driver with his family. And I said, hey, are you Damon Dash? He goes, yeah. And he kept on walking. And I knew he was Damon Dash because another dude approached him. He was like, yeah, thank you so much for all you do, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yep, that's Damon Dash. So, yeah. Yep. So I saw him in person a month ago. Frank Johnson also says Beyonce and Alicia Keys are cousins?
How? Interesting. You guys know a lot.
You guys
never heard that.
Some facts.
That is interesting.
Edward says 50 Cent was another rapper who didn't contribute to the community. Oh,
bingo.
Stingy ass. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because I got 21 questions for him, and they all about us. Frank Johnson says, how many of Destiny's Children got put out by Beyonce and her dad? LaToya Luckett would like a word.
Yep. But you know what? She went on into acting, so.
Oh,
but
cool.
Still, it was I think he wanted the focus to be on Beyonce. That's pretty much what it kind of hard to do that when it's 4 people versus when it's 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's go to that. Article. Okay. So, oh gosh, this thing keeps coming up. Okay. So, says Twitter unearths Beyonce's Ivy Park articles on how they paid laborers 64 cents an hour in factories. It says Beyonce's activewear brand Ivy Park had in 2016 come under scanner when The Sun carried an article claiming that women working in Sri Lankan factories get a mere 64 cents for more than 60 hours of hard labor a week. The Ivy Park label was launched in collaboration with the British fast fashion company Topshop. Many laborers at the time had opened up about the same, but hesitated from coming forth publicly in fear of losing their jobs. I'm going to say allegedly just to cover our ass.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, there is the meme, right? It says new reports, Inquirer.net claim that most factories working for the label come under MAS Holdings. The company, which claims to be South Asia's largest apparel and textile manufacturer, has 53 manufacturing facilities across 16 countries. The activewear brand has denied allegations of exploiting their workers. A Thomson Reuters article dated 2016 carried the company's reaction saying, quote, Ivy Park has rigorous ethical training program. We are proud of our sustained efforts in terms of factory inspections and audits, and our teams worldwide work very closely with suppliers and their factories to ensure compliance. It says most fans on the internet have already come up with these articles questioning Ivy Park's dubious dealings and Beyonce's claims of being a feminist. Having been an icon of women empowerment across the world, her numbers like Diva and Run the World deal with such issues. Twitter broke out with comments and cartoons of the musician criticizing Ivy Park's alleged practices. So it says, I like how Beyonce preaches empowerment for women, but the women in the Ivy Park sweatshops are getting paid like 5 rupees an hour. It says, I love how Beyonce and her female empowerment, but I need to call her out for paying 64 cents an hour to women making her Ivy Park clothes in sweatshops in Sri Lanka. Lesson here, having women rule the world will still bring exploitation if they hold capitalistic values. Hashtag diversity.
I'm telling you. And there's more, I mean, there's more. They're not the only ones, but it's just the amount of admiration that they get and the way their fans will like lose it if you call them out on the capitalist lens. Hopefully one day I hope people will wake up and see it for what it is. But I think the thing is like, again, where are they when the workers need the support and need the help? They're not around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would love to see them with the Teamsters at least showing up and saying, look, UPS affects a lot of us all over this country. Almost 350,000 workers are set to go on strike. We need to support these workers. I may not get what I need through UPS, but I don't care, because as long as the workers are supported, then let's support the workers. Do you know how many people follow them on social media that they can just jump up and go like that and go, we need to stand with the workers? If they can literally go in their local town, they can go to the local UPS and stand with the workers.
Even if they just tweeted about it. If they just tweeted, said, everybody come out there to support the UPS, you know how many people would show up?
Yeah.
But they never use, that's what I'm saying. They never use their platform in that sort of way. That's a big part of the problem.
How much in mutual aid could they do if they went to their strike workers fund and then posted that on their social media and said, support the workers in their strike? And tell them, hey, if you guys got some bottles of water, Gatorade, pizzas, pies, Go down to there and support the workers. If you're somebody who has a lot of money, post up some porta potties in that area so workers don't have to leave the picket line in order to go use the bathroom. If you're a nurse practitioner, and workers need healthcare, and if they're trying to get rid of their healthcare, can you guys go out there and help some of these workers who are picketing so with their simple medical emergencies?
Right. And they know these things are happening just like we know these things are happening. But it almost feels like to me that maybe like someone in their managers or whoever their agents are have probably told them in some way, shape, or form, don't speak about like worker issues or anything like that. And even if I had a manager that did say that or agent that did say that, I'd be like, nah, fuck that. I was a worker.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know what it's like. I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this goes back to Jay-Z doing the whole crypto thing. This is Dr. Boyce Watkins has strong words for Jay-Z's Bitcoin Academy and Marcy Project. Let's give this a quick listen.
Of Marcy projects in Brooklyn, and it's not getting very good reviews. People are very critical of the situation. But what do you think? Have you heard about the Bitcoin Academy? I got the article up here. If you haven't, I can give you some backstory on it. But if you have, talk about the Bitcoin Academy and if it will be beneficial for the residents in Marcy.
I'm actually Googling it right now because I didn't hear anything about it. Maybe if you could fill me in a little bit.
Absolutely.
It looks like he's partnered with Jack Dorsey on this. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yep. It says the program will target residents of the Marcy public housing projects in Brooklyn, where Jay-Z grew up, offering free classes to resident devices and data plans. Children aged 5 to 17 will also be eligible enrollment in the quote crypto kids camp featuring classes on crypto. It says the vision for Bitcoin is that it doesn't have barriers, but lack of access to financial education is a barrier. It's still hard to use for everybody's necessities. Plus, people need devices and data plans. The program's
first of all, I want to say, nah. People being poor isn't a lack of education, financial education. All right. It can play a part in helping people a little bit, but financial literacy just means that you are able to, know how the system works a little bit so you can game the system a little bit. But even still, like capitalism depends on most of the people actually being poor in order for a small group of people to be rich.
That's right. That's right.
EMK says, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you.
That was going to read. This Bitcoin Academy sounds like the new Trump University. Yep. Yep. Get an education with me. All right.
Mission statement reads, the program aims to provide education, empower the community with knowledge, and get rid of some of the barriers so that residents can learn more about Bitcoin specifically and finance in general.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that there are more constructive contributions that a Jay-Z could make to Marcy projects. I think that with Jay-Z, the challenge you have is you can't say he's a bad guy. You can't say he hasn't made any contribution to anybody, but you can't say that some things are lacking in terms of the potential of what he actually could pull off.
Another thing.
No, I'm sorry. I disagree with that. You can say he is a bad guy. What are you talking about? Look, think about what you just went over in reference to Occupy Wall Street, how he made money off of that. No, you can say that he is a bad person. Let's not go there. Let's not try to I don't know if he's trying to be nice because maybe he won't want to get an interview with Jay-Z or whatever. But miss me with all that. You can say that.
My thing is that if he actually helped the Marcy projects, they wouldn't be the Marcy projects anymore.
Oh. Like, okay, it's like he's offering free Bitcoin classes. So what?
Yeah.
Like, people need food.
Mm-hmm.
People need housing. Like, that doesn't, why not? And he's partnering with Jack Dorsey. That's the guy who previously owned Twitter. So this is the kind of people he hanging out with. So the thing is, he's trying to make money. He's trying to make money out of this. So my thing is that why not help Marcy projects in another way? Why not rebuild Marcy projects? Why not give all those people vouchers so they can get out of Marcy projects? Why not give them food? Why not give them free college? Why not do those types of things? And before someone come to me and say, well, college expensive, he can't afford it. He can afford it.
He can afford it.
Yes. Why not do that? Instead of, here's some free Bitcoin classes. The fuck? Bitcoin don't work for everybody. It doesn't work. Sometimes you do like gain money, but sometimes you lose on Bitcoin. It's not a stable coin. It's not like Rockfin. Rockfin has, the Ray token, and they also have the option to use the USD coin. Those are stable coins. Bitcoin is not as stable. So you could be doing great one day, and then the next day you could have lost half of what you just gained the day before. So why are you trying to get them to invest in something like that instead of giving them a permanent solution that gets them out of their poverty situation, instead of giving them something that they take a chance on?
But Sabs, that's the only thing. It's always a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. And when you try to implement a more concrete, permanent solution, you get whacked by the FBI and the police. Let's continue.
If you were around people that had the right mindset. And so I think that a Bitcoin Academy is fine. I think that learning about crypto is fine, especially if it leads into kids learning about STEM and technology and financial literacy. All that's wonderful. But then I would also end up asking, and maybe he has an answer to this question, but I would be curious about where the actual capital investment is in the Marcy project. Is somebody putting up $1 billion, $500 million to fund the young geniuses that come out of this space that have some of the best ideas in the world? Because ideas can't go very far if they don't get financing. And so with Jay-Z having these billionaire white friends out in Silicon Valley and Hollywood and everywhere else, I would challenge them to understand that you can't really do a whole lot in America without access to capital. So if you told me that this was the $500 million Bitcoin Academy, then that would be cool. That would make me say, okay, you're going to train them, and then you're going to finance them and get them in a position where they could be successful. But if you say I'm just going to open up a Bitcoin Academy, I don't hear enough there to tell me that it's really going to be transformative for the Marcy projects. Because here's the other thing about a JayZ is, we look up to our hip hop billionaires, and they are seen as sort of beacons of hope and light for the community, and as some of them should be. I don't know, but I remember when I sat and talked to Kanye West for a few minutes, and he told me how much he was worth. He's worth about he said he was worth $4 billion. I didn't have a reason not to believe him, but I wasn't impressed by any of that because I don't really care how much you're worth. I don't really care how great you are. I want to know how great other people are because they've engaged with you. So let me give it a point of comparison. Elon Musk has created probably 200,000 or 300,000 jobs for various white people and people just around the world. Yeah. SpaceX, Tesla. He's an industrialist. There's an entire system behind him that is developing manufacturing systems that are going to impact hundreds of thousands of families. Rappers just rap and brag about how much money they have, and there's not much else that kind of follows through from that other than maybe a little bit of charity, right?
Yeah, but Elon Musk also exploits.
Bro, Elon Musk creates, so a lot of the things that he create are only for people who can afford to have it.
Yeah. And then on top of it, he didn't create it. He just used his money to buy the company. See, here's the thing. Look, I may end up getting us reported on Twitter for insulting somebody. But Elon Musk is not the brilliant Tony Stark that everybody wants to make him out to be. Hold on, let me put this down. Get off me. Elon Musk is not the smartest guy in the room. He's one of the greediest guys in the room. That's how he was able to get to where he's at. There's nothing self-made about him. Because guess what? Hello, Emerald Mines in apartheid South Africa. That's how his daddy made the money. And so guess what? He's only rich because of exploitation.
Yep.
So to say, oh, he's an industrialist, though.
Dr. Boyce, come on. Dr. Boyce, come on, you got to know better. And what is he doing right now? He's exploiting people on Twitter right now, Jaybe, with the Twitter limit for people who only pay. That's what he knows is exploitation. Again, I don't see Elon Musk out there with these workers that go on strike. When Tesla employees wanted to strike, did they want to go on strike against Elon?
And ask about Elon's relationship with black people. Ask him about Tesla workers, about black Tesla workers.
This is just, I don't like this. Like, oh, well, so-and-so's a good billionaire. No, you don't become a billionaire without exploiting someone along the way.
Made me want to walk off my own show.
How do you think Rihanna became
a good billionaire? There's no such thing as a good billionaire.
Right. Look, how do you think Rihanna became a billionaire? It's not just because Fenty is a good product. It's because she was able to make that good product and make more money off of it because the workers are paid so damn little because they're sweatshops.
Exactly.
Give me a break.
Them's good white folks. That's exactly what when people dick ride billionaires. That's what I hear. It's them's good white folks. They feed us and they give us, they give us the Sunday off to go to church, right? They gave us a Bible. Them's good white folks. And I'm just like, yeah, but if you say the wrong thing, you'll be tied with your hands up and get a whip cracked on your back. Them's good white folks? I'm sorry. No. An exploiter, an oppressor, why are we making excuses for them? Mary Yorkie, wait, I'm sorry.
There we go.
Mary Yorkie says, he's a good plantation owner. He treats us good. Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that scene from Color Purple where Suge says, hey, I's married now. Did you hear me? I said I's married now. That's what it reminds me. Oh, man. Oh, no. So, yeah, we have to drop that good billionaire myth. We have to drop that.
Yeah. But my thing is like, if you're going to have a Bitcoin Academy, like, what are you doing to shore up so that they don't lose out? And go ahead, Sabs.
I just feel like none of this is done without there being something in it for them in return.
Yeah.
And
my thing is just like, for instance, Killer Mike, you helped start a bank. And it's like, well, black people need access to loans and capital. I'm like, a lot of us can't even get a loan because a lot of us got bad credit. So how is that going to help us?
He's another one where he agreed with like the universal policies that everyone needs healthcare, that kind of stuff. But he also felt like Black capitalism was the way to go.
It's not. If Black capitalism actually helped us, Black Wall Street wouldn't have never happened.
Right.
If Black capitalism actually helped us, we'd be in a much better position as a community right now. But it didn't. And you know who realized that? Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Fannie Lou Hamer, W.E.B. Du Bois, Fred Hampton, Bobby Seale. These people knew that trying to be like the slave master on the plantation ain't going to work, boo.
Nope.
Why are we trying to be like them? And maybe this is a line in the sand, Sabs. Let me know. But with knowledge and understanding, no self-respecting Black person is going to support capitalism. I said it.
But you know, all it takes is to get one to turn. Like you know, it's like you get someone like Jay-Z who grew up poor, or you know, and they get the opportunity, and maybe they may have a mindset of, man, I'm going to come back and help everybody else too, especially people who helped me along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get a taste of that new lifestyle, and it's like, nah, you know, I worked hard to get here, so let them work hard on their own. And that's a failed mindset. It's like you get out of poverty and you pull the ladder up behind you. You're not leaving the ladder down for other people in the community to have a pathway out of poverty as well. And that's not right. That's selfishness. And that's not being, you know, involved in the community. At that point, there is no community, because you left that community and you traded that community for one where everybody else is of the same billionaire or millionaire class as you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the way to work. When people talk about why, you know, wealth in the Black community, why we're not able to continue that pattern that one person had that got out and became very wealthy, it's because people pull up the ladder behind them, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really like,
yeah,
you know, don't want to take someone else with you. Or you might be in a position where you're like an Oprah, and Oprah at that point in time was the only Black woman that had her own talk show, like daytime talk show. And it's like, hell no, I know there's some other girls back home that are really good at what they're doing, but I'm not going to bring them up and mentor them because they might take my spot.
I mean, she brought up Gail.
Gail was already a lawyer, and Gail already had her own, you know, accolades of her own. She was also in that same space.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big part of it. Is just like, if you are one of the few, then they don't want to reach back home and pull up other talent with them. Like, did Jay-Z pull up more talent with him once he got to where he was? Like, it's like they may start to do that and then reach a stopping point, or they just totally steal from these people. Like Puff Daddy, yeah, he went to try to bring other people along with him, but then he took money from these people. That's why you don't see these artists, a lot of them anymore today. They just gone. That's why I said, what happened to these people? And then you hear interviews with people like Buckeye fan mentioned the Locks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just, you know, Black Rob passed away with health problems. Craig Mack joined a cult before he died. G. Depp confessed to a murder. I remember Shine went to jail for 10 years. And Puff Daddy is a part of that equation too, by the way. Mm-hmm. And the Locks aired out Diddy to leave Bad Boy. Yeah, Shine went to jail for like 10 years. And you remember that incident at the club, the nightclub, when Puffy was still dating J-Lo? Do you remember that?
No.
And there was a shooting at the nightclub.
Mm.
And after that, like Puffy and J-Lo's name was in the headlines. And after that, J-Lo broke up with Puffy after that because she didn't want to have her brand associated with that type of behavior. And then the next thing you knew, that's really what that was about. And so the next thing you knew, Shine ends up taking part of the rap for that. So Shine goes to jail for like 10 years. Puffy walks away unscathed every time. And this was the one thing I never understood. Biggie is shot in the car. Puffy's in the car behind Biggie, or it was the car in front or behind. Biggie is shot in the car. Puffy walks away unscathed. Unscathed. Tupac is shot 9 times. What was it? 9, 5, 7, 5? 7. He was shot a lot of times. Leaving the studio where Puff and Biggie went. Once again, Puffy walks away unscathed. Am I the only one that questioned this?
Mm-hmm.